Hi, Faisal.
Hi, Shadi.
So we talk so much about essence and the nature of healing and the nature of essence, and I know it's a really, really rich, deep area that can be explored, and I'd love you to talk about it from any perspective you like.
Okay. Many people don't know what is meant by essence, you know. Essence in a simple way is our being, our true nature, you know, can be differentiated into different aspects, like love, joy, strength, beauty, wisdom. These attributes that we name them by these names, they are actual energies. They are actual substances. They are even more condensed, more substantial than energy. They are not like tingling or light. They are condensed. Some of them are substances. Some of them like liquid, like gold or silver, or some of them are like wine or like oil. And some of those qualities are even denser, like pearliness, sponginess, or some even denser, like diamonds or crystals, you know. So the great being differentiates itself in variety of emanations, variety of frequencies. And those frequencies or substances, they are subtle to detect, even though they are very substantial, but it's very difficult for us to detect them because we are like a little paper boat on the surface of the ocean, you know. The waves take us right and left, and we are caught in the concepts and emotions and little things, excitement, all of those things. But we rarely question where do those feelings come from. You know, like if you feel love or if you feel joy, you know, we are so much excited and taken by the effect, but rarely question what is moving in my system that induces these effects, you know, love or joy or strength or stability. And when the person deepens in their work on themselves, calm down and sense more and deepen more in their meditation, they begin to detect the different presences, different densities, different textures. And if the person is also has inner capacity of seeing, you know, like some artists do, you know, they might see colors, they might see lights, they might see forms, you know, like the last time we talked about emanations or dimensions and vehicles, you know. So there are these substances in the system that are product of our soul, product of our being, that has effect on our psyche, on our mind, on our body, and give us what we know as these different kind of manifestation, joy or clarity or strength. These qualities that I'm talking about, these substances, is what we call essence. You know, like there is joy, but the essence of joy is a sweet substance, has yellow in color. When the substance runs in your system, you feel tickled, as if somebody tickling you from the inside. And there is another quality, when it runs in the system, it feels like lava, or it feels like red blood running in your system. You know, it's the blood of the blood. You know, it feels hot like hot blood. It has a feeling of vigor and aliveness and vitality and strength. You know, so that's a red essence, the quality of strength, the quality of courage, the courage to love life, the courage to enjoy life. So there are qualities like this that relate to the feelings that we know and to the psychology that we understand. And in so much in the Diamond Logos and Diamond approach, the emphasis was about how those qualities were the authentic personality that we had. that when we were born with the qualities that are authentic to our soul, authentic to our nature. And that constitute our personality: love, joy, strength, clarity, all of those things. And in the stages of growth, we started losing those qualities one after another at different stages of growth. This stage we lose this one, and that stage we lose that one. And in our work, we saw how those different stages relate to specific qualities. And we were able to see the correlation and gather the knowledge to deal with the different stages that we go through in childhood and how that it plays itself now in our life. And by seeing how that mechanism or that pattern plays itself, we can inquire into it in its nature, undo it, and retrieve the authentic quality that we lost, the essence that we lost. So this is the healing of the psychological, mental, psychological, emotional, all of those things. But there is a whole range to essence that I put this invocation from my heart. I didn't have the time to gather this knowledge, but I know it is there. And I gathered few glimpses of it. And some of it exists in Sufism and Buddhism and Taoism, about how those essential qualities can heal different things. And the idea is that the essential qualities can deal with different, not just psychological ailment, but physical illnesses, physical diseases, like, for example, depression and chronic fatigue syndrome. One aspect that can really remove that and open that is the red essence, what we call red essence. Red essence gives vitality, takes away the depression, takes away the exhaustion, takes away the fatigue, and makes the person feel revitalized, opened up, mobilized. It cleanses the liver, it cleanses the pelvic floor, and it does a lot of health input in the body, And for example, there is another quality many people, for example, suffer, especially like women in the period time, like they get headaches, and some of them get what kind of this severe headache that they call?
Migraine?
Migraine headaches, And migraine headaches, we find out, at least I find out, it has to do with a certain quality that has to do with inner space, inner spaciousness, So if the person has blocked their inner spaciousness for one reason or another, because of fear or because of attachment to an image they have about themselves, and they're confusing their image with their real self, then they are holding severe tensions in their body, and especially in the genital area, and that causes contraction. And the contraction causes even the spinal cord to be pulled down and contracted, and causes headaches. And when the person can see that, release that, then inner spaciousness opens up. And when the inner lightness and spaciousness opens up, migraine headaches go away. I've seen it disappear with many, For example, one of the famous diseases nowadays that spreading around is cancer. And cancer has to do with one form or another of hate, self-hate. On the essential domain, there are positive essential qualities like gold and silver and all of those beautiful things, but there are also negative essential states, like lead causes heaviness and dullness, tar causes toxicity and self-hate, iron causes severe defensiveness and defensiveness, mostly severe defensiveness. Rubber generates sense of resistance. So there are lots of those negative states. Tar is a quality that if the person does not know how to release it, it turns into hate. Some people hate themselves, some people hate their heart, some people they hate one thing or another, and whatever they hate about themselves, that person, that organ or that area could turn into cancer. You know? And so much of the cancer I found out get healed by divine love. There is certain emanation in being that has to do with divine emanation, I call it. And it has to do with the Lord divine emanating love, that you are loved, you know, and even though you are a sinner, even though you made the mistake, even though you caused all the trouble, you still loved to heal, to transform. And that frequency I witnessed, like in sessions I had, I remember twice, was so powerful. One woman I had that she had cancer in her womb, and it was very progressive cancer, you know. And the doctor was going to operate next week to remove the uterus, you know. And so she came to the session before just to process what you need to do, maybe say goodbye to the womb and her grief and rage about it, all of that. And while she was doing it, she went very deep about what is there inside. And then she recognized she was carrying hate. And by feeling the hate, the tar, it was like dark, black, tarry substance in the womb. And she felt that she was caught in it, as if her soul and mind and being caught in this pool of tar, hot tar, you know. And she started reaching this crying, you know, deep crying in her soul. God, I'm trapped. Please help. It was the first time she reached out to the divine for help. Before it was, I will work on it, whatever it takes. So she was noble in character, but didn't know how to reach out. In that moment, when she recognized the tar, and when she recognized that her soul really needed some kind of intervention, that she left that session. I remember she said, I feel it lifted off, the tar lifted off, and the cancer lifted off. And I was sitting with her, and I feel like, yeah, the whole room that was filled with tar and darkness lifted off, dissipated. Divine emanation came and lifted off. She goes to her surgeon. She said, you know, something happened. I feel a change there. Can we delay the operation? He said, no, you know, I don't want to hear about this, you know, healing and all of those things. You know, we either do it or not. She was scared.
Too much liability.
Yes, she was scared. She does the operation. She removed the uterus. Not one single cancerous cell was there. None.
Oh, wow.
And another woman, the same process. It was about her breast. And the next week she does the operation. They remove the breast and no cancer. You know, that's why in the old time, with all now the mess about John of God, there was also healing and divine intervention. Regardless of his personality, there was divine intervention. So the essential domain has qualities in it, I think, if we put on the lenses to call upon them, you know, and invoke them and know them in their suchness. Not just know them as love or clear or clarity or joy, but joy is a yellow substance. Clarity is a diamond. Love can be pomegranate or can be gold, or if we know them as alchemists knows them, you know, that we really use the scientific spirituality or spiritual science, you know, look at them and invoke them and know their frequency. I think we can generate them, and I think we can really help the physical body to heal with a lot of the ailment that's in it due to the loss of those qualities. You know? I've seen some people with broken bones, and when I remember when broken bones one day, like saying, oh, what will help it? And I could see this brilliant, dense substance like mercury, but shining brilliance, like when the sun hits the water or the mirror and it shines. It was dense substance brilliance, goes into the crack where the bone is broken, fills it up, you know. The pain started to ease, and in no time, not in months, in days, the body was able to use this brilliancy to build bone cells. So I knew this beautiful dimension is waiting for us, you know? And I know that it can really help the momentum that we are in now. So many, you know, like naturopath and new medicine and new discoveries in medical science, all of that. I feel there is a big symphony, but it needs to integrate the lying current underneath health and underneath psychology, and they are all interconnected. And essence, I believe, the time will come that we can really administer essence the way we can administer aspirin or this pill or that pill, you know?
Question for you?
Yes.
Just in terms of clarification, especially as you talk about science, when you say essence is a substance,
Yes.
a measurable substance, let's say electromagnetic measurement, megahertz, hormones, molecules, like is there a way that you can that you know of, or that might be possible to actually measure it?
I believe that because science hasn't looked at it, hasn't examined it, hasn't ventured to see that there is a different material. You know, like they talk about, is there a parallel universe? There are multiple, infinite parallel universes, infinite frequencies, but they are all interconnected, gelling in this life, in this form of life that we have on Earth. You know, so the universe is not what science is trying to sometimes encapsulate within the measurements that we have. Now they are venturing beyond the boundaries that we have. Now they're beginning to see that there are so many things, including that things can come from nothing and go back to nothing. Before, that was an impossibility, but now they are talking about it. Essence is substances that we don't have the measurement for it yet. You know? Okay. There is, for example, very obvious thing that you could see a lot. If you've been around, for example, babies, you know, and when a baby, like, I remember, like, my wife will, have our son or daughter and breastfeed them, and the baby relaxes, then goes to sleep. All of a sudden, they are about 2 or 3 pounds heavier. Ask any parent. Somehow, when the baby, not because of food, but because when they let go of this focus, attention, and all of this, and relax, their system, they're 1 year old, 2 years old, their system and its relaxation get infused, get saturated with essence, golden essence, pearly essence, platinum essence, and literally when you carry them, they feel so heavy, dead weight, extra weight, because actually they gain more substance, and it can be measured. It can really be measured. I measure sometimes when I was before then substances and after then substances, I sometimes increased 2 pounds, I knew it's a substance, not because I ate or I drank. I didn't eat, I didn't drink, and I waited, and then after meditation or something like that, I know it exists. We also experimented with, there is like one of the new approaches now to healing and the medicine field is frequency therapy, and a variety of machines that now, especially like in Germany and Switzerland and Europe, they're applying those machines. And one of them is called Beamer, and one of them is called the Oberon machine. And they are frequency. They detect the frequencies that's in our system. And this theory, I think, started with Rife, and long time ago. And he did all kind of testing with frequencies, including that Tesla and Rife, that especially Rife, that he invented a machine to heal cancer, but then he was attacked and the machine was thrown and you name it. But some of his students took his theories and took whatever notes they had, took it to Europe, to Russia, to Germany, and there the scientists didn't put it down. They picked it up and developed the knowledge and the science about it. And one of the things they invented is called Oberon machine. It's a machine that has in it the frequencies of the different cells in the body. The cells of the liver is different from the cells of the heart, and they have different electromagnetic frequency, and different DNA composition, So they were able to study that and put it in a little computer, like a laptop, and it's called Oberon machine. And this Oberon machine can detect, like I can put it on, like just a headphone, and it can scan my body, and it can scan all the way into the organs, and it can scan into the organs all the way into the cells, and scan the cells all the way to the DNA, and can tell where is the defect, what is happening, even though I might have a headache, but maybe what is happening could be something else, could be a blockage in the liver, and I am experiencing its effect in the head. So for example, this machine, I think has 70 billion bits of information. It not only scans, but also gives the biofeedback, and to awaken. The idea is that when an organ or the body gets sick, that area that got sick, the cells lose the memory of health. So the Oberon machine locate which area has lost that frequency, sends back the health frequency to that area. So the cells gain the memory of health, and then they begin to generate health again, and helps in the healing. Besides, it prescribes the supplements needed, or the allopathic medicine it needs, or the homeopathic, or the Chinese medicine. It's an incredible invention, It could be one of the most charlatanism things in the new age, or it could be the new frontier, So I experimented with it. A friend of mine has it. He is like my naturopath, and every year I go there for a tune-up. He scans me and gives me all kinds of things, and it works. I believe in it. Some people don't, but I love those things. I believe it really can help, and I believe it is upgradable. But one day he brought this machine to a healing. I was having a group in Europe, and he said, I want to detect, when one night we do like an hour of prayer and invoke the divine grace and the great being to bestow upon us healing and bring frequencies, and high entities come to bless us and heal us. He said, I want to know, is this a mind trip we're having, or an actual thing? He said, sounds great. So he brings the Oberon machine. He checks where we were, the room, where we were meeting, before the prayer. And then he checks it after. And the difference was 63 or 64% higher frequency, in the room.
Wow.
Huge frequency difference. Then he said, why don't we experiment? So he gave me bottles of water, and I started channeling substances in them. This is gold, this is black, this is green, and he started applying them with like, for example, many women suffer from issues in the uterus, in the womb, and like in menopause and all of those things. And he experimented what they might need. He applied black and gold. He found it really does an amazing. I channeled the frequency in the bottle. He put the bottle in the Oberon machine. The Oberon machine detected the frequency and now sends it back. So there comes time when we have the spiritual dimension sitting while you're just being, downloaded the frequencies. I believe that's possible, but I believe that also we need to do our work too. We need to deal with our karma and our issues that get us in trouble. We're not going to have a pill of essence and be healed, Even now, there is no such thing. Medicine cannot do it. We also have to do our part. But I believe that in the essential realm, there are all those beautiful, incredible qualities that can be looked at and studied, especially from those who are psychics, but like balanced psychics, and healers who are really serious about it. And we might really undo the map, not just essence in terms of psychology, but essence in terms of the different ailments in the body. I know about few of them, and I apply them, and I still apply them, and most of the time it really works. So this is like good news. I couldn't do it because I was busy with other things, but I believe that I just put the invocation, the encouragement for whoever listened to this tape, that please have the courage to look. It's not a taboo. This is our essence. God given us, being given us, whatever you like, it's ours. We need to retrieve it. It's only our now lostness, the human lostness, that made us so feel like as if it is spiritual or psychic. It's not. It's normal. But we really don't know that normalcy. I believe science will figure it out because it is scientific. It's a frequency, it's a subtler frequency, but we don't have the instrument. The Oberon machine is one of them, but they're now discovering more machines that can figure out the frequency. But to me, the whole universe, the whole spiritual universe is scientific. I'm a mathematician, I was in science, and to me it is definitely scientific. But science has overlooked this and hasn't allowed the direct experience to know. Einstein had a glimpse of it, and he wrote his famous theories, but Newton had it when an apple, but he discovered the gravity. But I feel all of these, what I'm talking about, these essential frequencies, they are in us all the time. Babies are I don't know, like a living organism of essential states. It's here. It's how to drop the prejudice and the fear or the vanity and to look at it objectively, to discover the essential states, their relationship to, like gold is related to the nerve, the diamond is related to the nerves, the green is to the fascias, the pearliness to the tubes around the nerves, the gold is around the pericardium. All of those are qualities that can heal with these organs. It doesn't mean the body won't die. It means it will not die with so much diseases and suffering. And, maybe by time we can upgrade everything, But I just invoke the genuine seekers to have the courage to look and bring essence into the picture as the healing agent too, one of the healing agents.